1 in 4 Americans report difficulty affording their medications. Too often, we hear stories about unexplainable price jumps for common medications that people depend on to stay alive, like insulin and the EpiPen. Americans view prescription drug costs as unreasonable and think that bringing down drug prices should be a top priority for President Trump and Congress. During the presidential campaign, then-candidate Trump endorsed 2 popular ideas to make prescription drugs more affordable: using the purchasing power of Medicare to negotiate drug prices directly with the pharmaceutical industry, an idea that 92% of Americans say they want, and allowing reimportation of cheaper drugs from Canada. Despite campaign promises, there has been little action on this issue since President Trump came into office. In fact, just the opposite has occurred. Over the last year and a half, the prices of over 2,500 drugs already on the market have increased by at least 10%. And so it was with great fanfare that on May 11th, President Trump released his anticipated blueprint to tackle high prescription drug prices. Titled American Patients First, the document identified 4 distinct problems with U.S. prescription drug costs: high list prices, lack of federal tools to negotiate lower rates, high and rising out-of-pocket costs for consumers, and the presence of lower drug prices in other countries. In responding to the challenges, the president outlined broad strategies that promised relief to sick Americans buying prescription drugs. Notably, none of the proposed actions echoed his campaign promises to use the government's full negotiating authority to lower the price of drugs or to re-import cheaper drugs at prices paid by Canadians. Instead, the new strategies of the Trump blueprint offered many old ideas, like using increased competition and incentives among drug makers to bring down the list prices of prescription drugs. Some of the blueprint's retooled ideas include rebate sharing in Medicare drug plans, promoting generics and less costly versions of biologic drugs, and requiring drug manufacturers to publish list prices for drugs in television advertisements. While these ideas may have some merit, experts say it will take years to translate them into lower drug prices, and in the interim, we can expect little impact on the cost of pharmaceuticals. This assessment was reinforced when stock prices for drug companies rallied after the speech. The administration has pushed back against the lackluster reaction to the president's plan, promising tangible actions to demonstrate the commitment to lowering drug prices. For example, Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar reported his intention to move some drugs that are currently covered under Medicare Part B, a system that has been criticized for lacking competition and driving up prices, into Medicare Part D, where private insurance plans have more power to negotiate lower prices.
The President has called on us to merge Medicare Part B drug payments into Part D, where negotiation has been so successful on so many drugs.
If put in place, this action could potentially offer some real relief to patients, but it no doubt would set in motion a counterattack from drug companies wanting to protect their bottom line. Democrats are attacking the president's blueprint as giving in to the pressures of the drug industry and abandoning campaign promises to lower drug prices. With the midterm elections only months away, the high cost of medications promises to remain an important political issue. A recent tracking poll by the Kaiser Family Foundation reports large majorities of Republican, Democratic, and independent voters who say they would be more likely to vote for candidates committed to bringing down the cost of prescription drugs. Although well-intentioned, the modest long-term proposals within the president's plan are unlikely to appease frustrated voters who want to see change quickly. More radical reforms will be needed to deliver that promise.